is its own. You answered the call. You chose the red pill alternative. Now let's awaken the underground. Name it before it names you. Stay sovereign. Stay free.
Welcome to the
Hello.
Awaken the Underground podcast. This is
Hello.
our second official podcast.
Yes. Welcome to Awaken the Underground on the Red Pill Network. Oh, we got lots of people in here.
Yeah, we're on the Red Pill Network. This is the official podcast of the Red Pill Network. We are Awaken the Underground. We're affiliated with Red Pill, and then obviously we have a lot of members here from Goths or from
Patriot
Goth. And
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm just looking at the list here. All sorts of people in here. Yes. Welcome. We have that going. Okay, I was trying to figure out what the sound was. Sorry. Don't mind me.
So go ahead and maybe we'll call up the roster. So we do have a lot. So we are Mind Pendulum. We start every show with a song. That was a song we're toying around for an opener set on our. If we ever get out and do a live set someday, maybe.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be our opener. We're like, hey, let's do that today because it just felt right. So we're still practicing that one, but we really dig it. That one's gonna be a fun one.
I'm surprised there are women that aren't woke because it feels it's almost all of them these days. No offense. I didn't take any offense to that. Sorry, I was just reading the chat there live.
We're awake, not woke.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So this is our second one. Last week was our first, like you said, and we got to hang out with an awesome person last week. We had John Ferguson as our guest. That was an awesome one. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. This week, we have another special guest. Here in a few minutes, we'll be bringing him on. But, yeah. What do you have to say, Rob?
Yeah, we have an awesome guest this week. So last week's podcast was unexpected.
It was totally unexpected.
It was phenomenal, was it not? I mean, so after the podcast, we were just kind of blown away. We had a very influential guest on with some really just amazing information, and we have equally as amazing of a guest today and a close friend of ours.
Yes.
From Red Pill Network, and it's going to be an exciting conversation with him. I think
he's been there with us from the start with Red Pill Alternative, so excited to have him on.
Yeah, he's absolutely. And if you go to Patriot Goth and you're seeing some of the memes and hopefully enjoying some of the memes that we're putting out there, Johnny.
Hopefully they're making an impact. You don't have to enjoy them. They can just make an impact.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah, absolutely.
I know. That's what I knew that's what you meant. I just wanted to say it.
Yeah, making an impact is definitely. I think it does. He does some great art, and like all art is supposed to be very. His art is very. I would say provocative and intelligent humor, a lot of sarcasm, and I dig it. So
there was something I was going to say about it. Actually, I was reading it this morning, and I forgot to tell you about this. Also, I was reading the history of like political memes, almost in a sense, or like political satire. What you would see like back in the day when they would do the like. It all started because of looking into where the elephant came from for Republican and where the donkey came from for Democrats. And there was a man in like the 1800s that he literally created satire cartoons, and he was the one who created that imagery for them. And he actually started because of being bullied and like having like all this stuff. And so he started creating art to portray it. So I wish I could remember his name right now. If somebody can look it up in the chat. I want to say his last name was Nest. I think his last name was Nest. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because I was thinking about it after I read that. It was reminding me of like what Johnny is doing and what all of them are doing with the political memes now and how it's evolved with AI and art on the internet. So,
right, absolutely. And I think one thing that we want to call out right now, there's a lot of AI memes being created. But we have a huge network of artists.
Yes, we do.
Organic artists that do human-made art, human music. We're not biased against AI music or art. We think it's a tool. But we also have this amazing network of people that do traditional human art.
And I believe Johnny has a background in that too.
Yeah. And most of the people that are working on AI art have a background in have experience with doing art. So it's not like they just got thrown in there and said, hey, I can, they're artists. So you still have to have a vision. I know this is a topic for another day, but I wanted to throw that out there because we're gonna be showcasing a lot of really amazing artists in the future, and I just want it to be known that that's not the only thing that we're doing at this point in time. Is AI art. We will see a lot more.
Yes,
in the future.
like that's something we were discussing, is like creating more engagement with people in Patriot Goth and Red Pill in regards to their artistry. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And in our studio room, and maybe you can't see it, we will show pieces from now and then. We have a collection of organic art that we went out into our local.
And we have more coming on the way at some point.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. There's a lot more. We're gonna change this whole studio. We're gonna switch it up. We're gonna put a lot of different art pieces in here. We have collections of art from various locations and various artists in our local scene, and some that have sent us stuff that aren't local, and it's just really cool. So we'll show some of those off in the future. We'll have a whole show showcasing that. Red Pill will also be having a lot of stuff like that, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the works at Red Pill Alternative that we'll be doing in regards to publishing, in regards to music, all of it. And it's like, we have Node Music out there, which is an awesome place for independent artists.
Yep. Node Music is a new music platform for independent artists. It's really cool. So if you haven't checked it out, we will put links for Node Music. If somebody has the link for Node Music, please put that.
Already done. Thank you.
Yeah, Node Music's out there.
NodeMusic.fm.
Yeah, get your music on Node Music. If you haven't done it yet, get it up there. I know there's a lot of stuff coming for the platform that's going to be really cool and exciting. I think there's NFTs and some different.
Eventually, there's a lot of cool stuff coming with it.
Yeah, physical media stuff and whatnot. And at that point, I have to grab my coffee. What were you gonna say, sir?
Oh, I was just gonna check Zoom to see if he's ready here.
No, I can do that. Are we ready for Johnny already?
Yeah, I think so. 7:14. We told him 7:15.
Johnny.
So we got to be on the spot. We got to be Johnny on the spot.
All right, we're gonna be Johnny on the spot.
Dad joke.
Thanks.
I was the one who made it, so.
You know what? I think we have Johnny here. Johnny, I'm going to flip over to the Zoom camera for you, sir. And we're going to put you on camera as soon as you're ready. I see.
We see him.
Here we go. Anyway, I had to do this, and I didn't practice, but here's Johnny. Hey, Johnny.
Oh.
I don't know if we got sound for you, sir. You may have to flip your sound on.
Oh.
We see him, but we don't hear him. So
we see him, but we don't hear him yet.
Let me double check and see if he just got.
I don't think we're.
No, it looks like. Okay, we may flip back over here in a minute and let Johnny.
Yeah, we're not muted on our end, so it's something on your end.
Yeah, sir. See if you can maybe just rejoin with your laptop, or see if you can flip the audio back on and off. We're not getting anything. So
Johnny feeling cute today.
But anyway, love the outfit.
Johnny feeling cute today.
So as he works with his live stream setup, we'll continue to give him some time to troubleshoot here. It looked like I saw something blip there, Johnny. So whenever you can, go ahead and you can pipe up, and hopefully we'll get you in the stream.
Oh.
He may have unconnected and reconnected. Okay, so we're having Zoom issues.
Zoom.
So Red Pill there's a lot coming with Red Pill, and there's a lot also coming with the show in the future. I know we have multiple guests preparing to come on. Hopefully we'll have Johnny today. If not, then we will move on. And
it looks like it's coming soon.
See if anybody has any questions in the
Anybody in the chat have any questions? Zoomception. Yes.
Or any troubleshooting.
Looks like
No, he's not coming on yet, I don't think.
No,
let's go ahead
and
let's move on and as soon as we hear him.
As soon as we hear you, Johnny will switch over to you. So you're set up that we'll hear your voice when you come back on.
Yep. Just scream at us and we'll zap you over.
So in the chat, I'll go through. I see a lot of familiar faces, and then I see some other ones on here. Hello, everybody new to the stream. If this is your first time watching, I see. Does anybody have any questions? Whoa, what is that question down there? I just saw something. Go away. When will I get to conquer the human reality? Oh, that's from Gothinator. Yes. When will you conquer human reality? I am curious as to when that'll happen. Have you tried turning Johnny off and back on? We could try.
Well, yeah, I think we turned him off for sure.
Disconnecting everything and then trying again.
He keeps spawning new Johnnies. We're on Johnny number 3. You gonna delete the other ones? Yeah, go ahead and let him delete those.
I won't start deleting things. I'll let him do it.
So it looks like what we
tried turning Johnny back on. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading.
Yeah, we could stop the stream and restart it. That's not a bad idea.
Oh, it's turning Johnny off and back on again, not the stream.
Let me go ahead and Johnny, I'm gonna log out of the stream real quick, and I'm gonna start it up on our end just in case.
The Zoom stream?
Yeah, it says.
I might have to give him a new code then, which is fine. I can do that while you talk.
Okay, it looks like everything I see is set up on our end, so we're just not hearing the sound. We did test beforehand, so we're a little shocked that this isn't working. So if you want to try a different stream, if not, he can just have him join with his phone, and maybe that'll work too. I can. Okay, we'll continue to troubleshoot.
Okay, I need a new. He asked me to send a new code. While Rob is getting that set up, I will check out the chat. Do y'all tackle, what is that? I hate this. I can't see there's a heart thing on here. Do you all tackle certain subjects, or is it like go with the flow, a mix? It usually is kind of go with the flow, but we also tackle certain, like we have discussions. Like last week, the stream, you can check it out on YouTube. We spoke with John Ferguson. He actually is going to be working with Red Pill to do some white label coffee. And he also talked with us about his history in the military and what then led him to decide to create the coffee shop. But then also there's more to it than that he is the... he owns Saxon Drones, and he talked to us about that. He told us all sorts of stories. So it is actually, we like to discuss things in particular to the person who is on the show and then what their history is. So there was that answer.
And I think that's kind of, so yeah.
It is a mixed bag of fascinating topics here. It really is. There's not just like one set topic that we would be discussing, and it's a laid back discussion, talking, like just having a discussion with people, and so that's what we like to do.
Yeah, and if you want to try this stream thing, I'll take over for a second. So yeah, basically we started this as Mind Pendulum. This was a stream to basically introduce the book that my wife's writing, and then go into we were going to do music, and we're actually going to discuss music gear. And then we met all these amazing people and kind of started this Red Pill project. So we switched over, starting last week, into the Red Pill stream. Then, for our first stream and our first guest ever, we got on the guest that we were just talking about, and from John, and that kind of took us into the territory of talking about a whole ton of subjects. So, to be honest, I don't know where we're going. I feel like right now I'm open to discussing anything and everything that kind of sits within in the Patriot Goth community, in the Red Pill community. We're hoping to get, obviously want this to be more of an underground centric podcast. But the agenda is going to depend on what everybody kind of wants to hear. I think if we have interesting guests each week.
Oh, there's another question. Who inspired the name Mind Pendulum? That actually came from a quote that was attributed to Carl Jung, but then they say it actually isn't him, but we still love it. And it essentially says that the pendulum of the mind does not swing between right and wrong. It swings between sense and nonsense. So that's where that name came from.
Yeah, and that the Mind Pendulum name, I think we started that in
Oh, awesome. Patriot saw it last time. Patriot in watched the last one, and he said it makes it more interesting. I saw the last one.
Oh, you saw our last stream? So
yes,
okay.
The coffee. Yes, we will be having coffee, and he also he shamed us last week when we were discussing coffee because we were like, yeah, we drink Starbucks Pike Place roast, and he's like, yeah, that's not the best coffee. So like, sorry, we're gonna have to start buying the white label from Red Pill.
Johnny, can you say something? We'll see if we got sound. He's back on the stream, but I don't know if we got sound. I don't think it's on. I mean, we tested earlier.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be.
He said he's talking right now. So.
Yeah, I'm not getting the sound. I don't know. Oh, we heard you. There you are.
Test.
There you are.
Right,
we hear you.
Test.
Yes, we hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, I think it's because my fucking. I can sort of hear you. I plug my speakers.
Yay!
It's the fucking default bullshit.
All right, here we go.
With the fucking stupid. Now, can you hear me still?
Yes, we hear you. The whole stream hears you. It's awesome.
Yeah, we can hear you. So continue with your
what
rant.
Now?
It's more,
Now can you hear me?
It's more entertaining than what we were doing because we were trying to.
Your rant filled in. We were trying to fill in time, so your rant is awesome.
We were trying to.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, there we go.
Can't see you though. You're hiding. I see your ceiling.
Yeah, we see.
And now everybody sees your ceiling, so I got you.
Well, it's hard to see.
You're on the stream now.
Oh, there you go. We see you now.
Okay.
It's hard to see.
Everybody,
with the
it's Johnny.
on, right? So.
Johnny made it. So.
Hello, Johnny. There he is.
Yeah.
Johnny Failcore. There he is.
So, Sera,
what's shaking, guys?
Johnny, we're gonna let you take it for a minute. I'll let you do the introduction. Quick before you start, I want to thank everybody out there. Everybody, thank you very much for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. We're still getting started with this, and we will get better as we continue. But like I said, now we have the stream running, and here is Johnny Failcore.
Okay, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope everyone's doing well. I'm mostly awake, powered by caffeine. They were saying a lot of nice things and a lot of nice ways of calling me things that are not a troll, but trolling is kind of what I do. I like to talk shit and bug people because it's funny, and levity is a part of life, guys. Don't take everything so fucking seriously. Learn to laugh at yourself. It's in the name, Failcore, for fuck's sakes, people. Jesus. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to swear this much. And I would not ever call anything that I've ever posted meme-wise as art. That's just silly. It's a meme, honestly. People get so goddamn hung up. They're like, why are you posting your art? I'm like, it's not my art. It's a joke, dude. Calm the fuck down.
It's a joke. Yeah.
You just can't find somebody to come up with... Yeah, I could maybe find somebody. I could maybe even draw it myself if I wanted to take a fucking month for an internet joke, but I'm not doing that. And I'm not going to pay somebody like $50 and 2 weeks time to come up with a stupid internet joke. That's just stupid.
Exactly.
Besides, it's funnier if they get all pissed off anyway.
So when you come up with them and you do them, is it usually like something inspires you that you see somebody do on the internet? You're like, okay, this person's being dumb. I want to call out the hypocrisy. Is that usually where it comes from?
Oh, most of the time, pretty much. You interact with people. I mean, I believe that you have the ability to interact with who you choose to, and you don't have to enter into a discussion and with people in bad faith if they're not gonna be serious, or if they're gonna practice intellectual dishonesty and win the debate rather than discover what the truth of the matter is. And you could agree to disagree, and like I said, levity keeps things a little more fun and keeps people calm. But if they can't be calm, it pisses them off. So a lot of what I like to do is have discourse in the comments section with people, and if they start throwing a tantrum and they don't really understand what I'm saying, it often inspires a little joke. And so I'll take and put a note down and come back to it later and say, how can I express this visually in a way that's clever and sort of makes fun of people or points out the cognitive dissonance that they're sort of formed on where their misunderstanding is. A prime example, obviously, that we all take issue with is the Antifa people. It's absurd that everyone takes it false at like face value. And they create like a false dilemma or a false dichotomy of like, no, it just means anti-fascism, so it's good.
So
if you don't like Antifa, well, that must mean you like Nazis and stuff. And it's like, no, for God's sakes, you dipshits. Tell me you didn't like pay attention in history class. Just because Stalin helped us oppose Hitler, don't mean Stalin was the fucking good guy. Yeah. And Antifa actually came from the German Communist Party opposing the other German socialist nationalists. So it's a bunch of commies just infighting. I don't think we're down with that. Also, I like to make my decisions and choices and voice heard at the freaking ballot box. And if you can't do that, you have a bunch of retards screaming around and just throwing a tantrum that ICE is the Gestapo and sending Jorge back to Mexico City is the same as burning him. Like, shut the up.
So Johnny, I think you helped answer one of our questions here for the guests. That they said, where are we going with this podcast? And I think we're going to go everywhere, right? So
we're going to prove that Senator McCarthy was right, and we apologize to him profusely. Even I used to write essays in social studies in high school about how mean and bad Mr. McCarthy was for his witch hunts against Hollywood, and now, like, 50 years later, 50, 60 years later, we've got a bunch of fucking bullshit communism in our movies. And what really pissed me off is that now the movies suck. If you want to be a communist, at least tell a goddamn good story.
So why don't you talk a little bit about your unique situation? I know as much as you can, and why.
I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I don't like the Canada part anymore because we are run by a bunch of socialist dipshits. Who thought it was a good idea to put a goddamn banker in charge of things? When the fuck have they ever been selfless and run things for anybody else that works out except for making themselves rich? Carney's an idiot. Trudeau was a fucking dipshit. And I think a lot of Americans don't know a lot about Canada.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Alberta
I would say, can you take a moment and then explain to some of our guests why this impacts you, what it is that impacts you specifically, and give some examples so that people can understand why you're so passionate, why you create the memes that you do, and then what you hope to accomplish with those.
Well, what do you mean specifically?
What is it that drives you to put out the memes that you put out to battle Antifa and the fascists? And what is it? How is it that you are affected specifically right now?
Well, I mean, where my home has become like a dystopian. Well, I'm exaggerating, but it's become like just ingrained with Marxism. A lot of people are just the useful idiots that Marx talked about. So Alberta's on, closer to the West Coast, and we're run from Ottawa, which is far out east. And they make all the decisions for us and take what they call equalization payments. We pretty much pay all the bills for the entire fucking country, and we have no say in anything. We've only got about 5 million people in the whole province. We only became a province about 100 years ago, so this has been an issue with, since my grandparents' generation. at about like 1912 or so. And I'm a staunch Alberta independent supporter. I don't think we need to be part of Canada anymore because I really detest Marxism.
What's the what do you say you're a supporter of? What?
The Alberta independence movement.
Okay.
Could you explain what that is and how people get involved?
Yeah, well, anyone could like show their support online. It really helps that there is like the common man that supports it. Alberta was settled by a lot of Americans coming up from the south, from Montana and Washington State. It was all, you know, there's a lot of our grandparents came from the U.S., including some of mine. I have relatives that live in America, and we're trying to vote to legally secede from the country of Canada because they don't represent us anymore. So that's a lot of what I'm trying to do is support the social, you know, pressure to make that happen because our laws are stupid. I'm not necessarily in favor of joining the U.S. or not. It really honestly depends personally on what makes the most sense for my home. That's what I'm trying to do. But also in the general broader sense of the culture war, you know, what I like about Red Pill Alternative is what they're trying to accomplish and the broader picture against globalism and a bastardization of culture. This absurd assumption that everyone seems to have made that all alternative culture, whether it be goth, punk, metal, hell, beatniks going back to the 50s, that it's somehow super progressive communist bullshit, and that's just absurd. I think you can follow any political ideology or economic system and still be alternative as you fucking want.
Well, that's why I think I really like the push for individualism in it. Not necessarily the push, but the highlighting of the individual and how Red Pill Alternative really speaks on that is the soul of it. And I absolutely love that's where freedom is in the individual.
I sent you those talking point bullet points that I scrambled together last minute that I meant to do like 2 days ago, but I sort of forgot. And so I can't really read them as well wearing this fucking mask, but if you want to bring any of them up, that'd be a little
There
more
was
helpful.
one that I was looking through. It was one of the, I don't know if they're in any particular order. Were you wanting
no order.
Okay. The one that stuck out to me, I was looking at the part that you brought up in regard to Article 12 and DARVO and manipulation. And that one was coming up because we actually have a song that we were working on called DARVO. So that's
Can't wait to release that one.
Popped out to me because you said something about how it's in Article 12. It says that protecting your energy is healthy, not cowardly. And we don't owe engagement to bad faith actors or time wasters. Boundaries.
No, exactly.
And I thought that was really cool. And like the discussion on DARVO is a big thing that I find interesting. And then if you want to explain what DARVO is for people that don't know. I know.
Well, it's an acronym that due to my retarded dyslexia don't remember was it disrupt,
deny, attack,
be retarded, be a raging vagina, and be orally stupid, I guess. I don't know. You tell. I can't read so well on the mask.
What is the R? Deny, attack, reverse
control.
Yeah,
I remember because I remember the lyrics of our song.
Yeah, it's basically like saying that, you know, you deny that you did something, then reverse it and flip it back on the other person and then to blame them.
Yeah,
exactly. It's essentially a bunch of, from my understanding, if my memory serves me correctly, it came from Marxist doctrine about basically strategic tactics to accomplish exactly what it says. It's pure intellectual dishonesty, and it's just meant to waste your time and to confuse you and to make you look foolish publicly, which is just, again, are you looking for truth? Are you looking to convince people's mind, change their minds? I'm willing to have my mind changed. I've changed my mind about a lot of things. If you have a good argument, convince me. Stop wasting my time and dicking around, or I'll just throw a whole bunch of memes at you and make fun of you and call you a stupid retard with a dead hamster up your ass. Like, let's be fucking, like, are we taking things seriously or not? And if they don't want to take things seriously, I'll just make fun of them because they're going to waste my time. I'll waste their time. And I noticed a lot of the people on the left are a lot more sensitive to getting their feelings hurt. It's funnier for me to just
Johnny,
and my feelings are not hurt.
So just let's stay on the DARVO topic for a minute, because I think it's deeper than just even just getting people like you just mentioned. The tactic itself is to psychologically get people to basically give up mentally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they just operate on emotion.
So maybe you could talk about, and I think I've noticed that you and a lot of the people that you're working with do such a good job at countering that in a really smart way, in a way that's thinking outside of the box, because it really does take a lot of effort to keep people's attention. People have been turned off, and the biggest thing is nobody believes anything anymore because these tactics, right? If you can speak to that.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I think a healthy bit of skepticism is, there's a double-edged sword there, because if everyone questions everything, it ends up working against the bad actors because they can't be trusted either.
Yes.
And people kind of have no choice. They get confused and frustrated, and they start actually thinking for themselves. There's a term I don't remember ever being taught that has been been around since the ancient Greeks is being heuristic. And that means to basically try to win an argument rather than find out the truth of things, how to win a debate. And that's just,
that's where we're at.
Politicians do. That's what bad actors do. That's what culture warriors do. And it just serves no purpose. You'll see a lot of these popular content creator live streamers like Hassan Piker, who just attempt to just waste your time and brainwash people. And they use all these logical fallacies where they just mock you or try to twist things around to make you look foolish so that you get all up in your fucking feelings and fall apart and look stupid.
Would it be
and
fair?
And they're trying to paint you the wrong way. It's just absurd.
Would it be fair to say that it doesn't just, it does serve a purpose, though? I think that might still be a fair thing to admit, that the purpose is more to just throw people off and get people not talking. It's the division tactic, right? We want to keep people divided. We want to keep people from believing one another, and we want to show them that free speech doesn't work. So therefore, then they can take control and claim victory, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's
confused everybody, so they're questioning everything, and they don't know what's true, and they're looking for somebody impassionate enough from either side of the political landscape or the ideological landscape that comes along and says, "Oh, I have all the fucking answers. Trust me, bro. We should just, that person has too much money, and we need to take it from them. Did you know that Elon Musk has a data center full of gold coins that he swims in like Scrooge fucking McDuck? That's totally how it works. Trust me.
Yeah.
And that's your money. He only got it by stealing from you. That's not fair. We should go fucking burn a Tesla. Shout at ICE."
Yeah. And it gets people riled up emotionally, and then they can't think. Like they're so emotional and riled up that they don't even question what is actually being said to them, because half the time it is an authority figure that's telling them.
Exactly. Everyone giving up control of your choices and decisions to somebody you perceive as having it more figured out is comforting to a degree. You don't have to think for yourself. It becomes just blissful ignorance of just buying into these fake shitty ideas that are impractical.
Well, and then it also
we don't harp on it enough, but it's not just Marxism. It's also like, I find pure, and I may disagree with some of the manifesto here, and that's fine. That's part of the point, is that we can think individually. Is I don't believe in complete free market libertarian capitalism. I think that's very foolish. I think that you're going to have to deal with, I don't know if I'm sidetracking here, but it goes to the individual thought, and everything and how things work, is that if you're going to have to deal with foolish people who get addicted to a substance, so they start causing trouble to feed their itch. So they break into your car. What do? Do you pay to have them imprisoned for life? Do you become a totalitarian and have them executed? We need a practical solution, not just say, well, I don't want the government to tell me what to do, so I should be able to shoot the guy who broke into my car to cause a cycle of tribal revenge tactics from his family that now wants me dead and might kill.
So you're saying that complete anarchy? Are you looking at it?
Anarchy, complete unregulated, everything is stupid. When the Industrial Revolution first came along, you had a bunch of fucking, a lot of good Charles Dickens novels came from it, but we don't want 12-year-olds getting crushed by the cotton gin trying to fucking sweep out linens and shit for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for pennies on the dollar, while everything gets smog covered and polluted because you can't trust a corporation not to just do what's in their own best interest. I think that's where a lot of individual thought and capitalism, and it all kind of comes together, and you have to take human nature into consideration, whether it's an economic system, because
there was something that somebody said that goes along with that. I don't know if you're watching the chat, but somebody said we come up with ideas and future ones by disagreement. And
exactly. Precisely. We have to have informed debate, and that's where a lot of ideas come from.
Yeah.
Whether you've seen
we
it.
Can't do that if we got DARVO taken over, right? And people are fighting online constantly, right?
Well, no, exactly. That's why you got to either just shut down the bad actors and refuse to engage, because they're going to waste your time. And your time is a fire.
I don't agree. I don't agree. Johnny, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. And I think this is where maybe we've had some discussions before. Like, if you shut the bad actors down, then they just go and they say, hey, look, free speech doesn't work. Capitalism doesn't work. Look at, they silence my speech. So
well, yeah, but
I think we have to find a way
tactic, right?
We have to work around their tactics by just learning to communicate again.
Well, exactly. But my point is actually more towards the ones who are refusing to listen no matter what you say. They are so far gone. All they want to do is disrupt and troll. And no matter what you say, you're not going to break through to them. So they're wasting your time. So you might as well save it for people who are actually willing to engage, even if they're a little hostile.
Right.
But also approach it with grace, because if you become too insulting, people become entrenched in their own opinion, and it becomes a me versus them situation. And I'm all about trying to get people to actually talk and listen and reason. And that's why you'll find that people you've known for a long time, you can kind of disagree with them and have a civil discourse. It can even get a little bit heated a bit here and there, as my screaming matches with my sisters, go. But that's fine, as long as you can actually come back to the table and discuss in good faith. I'm talking about like shutting down the Hassan Pikers and the real bullshit, like people who were just wasting your time. Well, but I'm fully in agreement with you that it is a lot of it's about changing minds and giving people the opportunity, even to see how some of the bad actors get handled, that their logic just doesn't fly. The other third party who can witness you debating with a bad actor and sort of be like, yeah, actually, this guy makes sense and this guy's just being a dick.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do that though? I think that's where I'm at. How do we? Because it seems to me their tactic, like we're all in agreement, their tactic is to come in, say if there's a group like the groups that we belong to, and they want to disrupt, they're gonna keep spreading nonsense on purpose. It's almost like a child when the child goes blah nah 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 nah. That's what they're doing, right?
You. I'm not touching you.
Yeah, and I'm not touching you. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you yell at them, they're like, "Oh no, you yelled at me. You're big and mean." And it's like
playing the victim
role, and then they run and tell everybody else how mean you are. And the end result is they're trying to actually destroy free speech by getting around the rules. That's what I see. How do we combat that? I guess. And you've done some great things. So I'm really curious. What do you think we can do?
Honestly, I think that's a bigger question than people realize, because I see it as kind of, that's the whole point of civilization, is us trying to become culturally and emotionally mature enough to have proper discourse to convince people of things. I think the more educated we become and the more people challenge us and the more we challenge them, we will arrive at a consensus of truth rather than a consensus of heated emotions that people will get so just all up in their feelings and, like I said, adversarial nature with each other and stuff. It's always been a fight against the barbarians, so to speak. I don't know if you're familiar with where that word comes from. It's hilarious. We can get into that later.
I'm interested.
It's essentially a bunch of Romans that were making fun of Germanic people, being like, "Oh, listen to these fucking dipshit, uncivilized people. Their words just sound like bar 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 bar." literally where it comes from. It was like a sort of a derogatory slur. But this I find interesting, but because you see that today. So I think that this goes back to my point about being this is the question you asked. What can we do to go against that?
Yes.
You know, well, I think that man's been struggling to do that ever since. That's probably why we developed languages. Hey, Ugg over there thinks that he needs more of the meat, the good shit, that fucking mammoth, and I helped kill that fucking mammoth. I want that shit. But how do I articulate that? Well, shit, now we have vocabulary like millions of years later. So we can bitch about this shit and how we share our resources. I don't know. As far as specifics go, it's all culture war, man. It's not going to end anytime soon. We just got to keep doing it. You know, as I said earlier, it's something in one of our chats regarding something else that, you know, we're not going to achieve world peace tomorrow, but we got to keep trying for it. But we can't be naive and just say, well, you know, if you just make war illegal.
Yeah, that's not.
I want to take what you said. Like, we're not going to achieve world peace, but we got to keep trying for. I think that statement right there means a lot, because it just reminds people, don't get disheartened when you're talking to these people online, when you're meeting these people that just seem to want to shut everything down and say that. I think that these voices are loud because, and I have some suspicions why they're loud, and I'm not going to go into that because I think it's going to be a different show, but they're loud on purpose. And I think most people are just quiet because they feel like their voice doesn't matter anymore, and they want to have these rational discussions. That's my.
So they just silence themselves.
Yeah, that's what I think is happening, because a lot of people that I talk to, when I meet people on the street, when I meet people on these live streams, when I meet people like yourself and all the people I've met through Patriot Goth, through all these other groups, tons of different groups online, I get to talk to them, and they're really cool, and they're really nice, and they want to talk, they want to get their voice out there, and then they meet these.
Yes, it is the loud minority versus the silent majority. Gothinator said that. That's very true.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So thanks for paraphrasing. Anyway, I digress. This is the part, I think, where you're doing such a great job with your memes. I won't call them art. Some of them are funny, but we'll call it comedy, right? And comedy really breaks through.
It does, yeah.
It makes a statement. So back to you, sir. Keep doing what you're doing.
Well, actually, on that note, I'll sidetrack for a second to say that it's sort of a joke, but there's somewhat truth to it that I just realized the other day with our friend Gothinator in the chat there, my colleague, who kind of accidentally pointed out, it's like, and I realized, oh shit, yeah, if they get so emotionally invested in a meme I made, or he made, or any of us, that they get, well, what does art do? It triggers emotional reactions and thought. So you just made it art, dude, by throwing a tantrum about it and becoming a keyboard warrior, just furiously typing and spamming.
It was just AI, and then you made it this. Yeah.
The memes write themselves, right?
Yeah. It was an AI generated thing, and then they turned it into something by their reaction. And that's a good way to look at it, that they themselves created it into art.
But that's also where I think that, you know, like they say, like, that comedy and tragedy are two sides of the same coin. You know, you've got the scene that goes back thousands of years, and it's true. The best comedians usually come from a place of trauma. But that's also where sort of this approach, this sort of facetious, satirical thing, it kind of serves a good purpose, because you mock the people who deserve it, and who deserves it is you know, that's debatable, and that's relative. But it also lightens your mood. If you can laugh at yourself and other people, then you don't get so serious. You don't get so caught up in your own feelings that you start becoming one of those psychos who spams 10,000 fucking messages at people because you have no life and you're just some like edgelord loser who just really needs attention and needs everyone to feel that their trauma fucking matters more than anything else because you hurt my feelings, and that's not true, and shut up, you're wrong, because reasons, fuck you.
Day said something that actually that goes along with, she said something in the chat. She said, people don't get angry at things unless there's some truth in what is being said.
Oh, yeah. That's 100%. a great
There's some personal
point.
truth in it, because otherwise, why do they care? And that's true.
Yep.
It's like
100%.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, excellent point.
There's a lot of people, and I think that's also why people react so much. And as I've often said, is they kind of betray themselves. I hope one or two trolls saw that we were doing this and is listening right now to be like, yeah, you think you're pissing me off, dude? You're really not. I'm getting lots of entertainment at how stupid you don't understand my argument. And eventually I'm just going to shut you off because I'm bored, like if you don't want to fucking even try and you're just going to get up all in your fucking feelings and then throw a tantrum. But you're not, you get upset and you've got your own little like history of this and that, and you're getting so upset. And you're like, no, shut up. It's I love little Wojak memes. So those primitively drawn like MS Paint style little guys. Those are called Wojaks. And there's the one with the mask that looks smug, but behind he's just
okay. You're gonna have to.
Yes, I think I know what he's talking
about. Smell that in people, like, and you're like, I'm pissing you off. No, dude, you're making me laugh.
So I kind of want to.
I get annoyed at these people after a while, and that's when I shut them down. Because I'm okay. I can, as I literally said to our friend Rebecca, there is, yeah. If you feel like telling that dude in the comments that I'm blocking him, good, because I thought he was trolling, but I think he's just retarded, and I can only show a dog. To quote Bill Hicks, you can only show a card trick to a dog so many times before he's.
So. I kind of want to highlight another thing you said is the art in comedy comes from a place of trauma, and then you mentioned Bill Hicks, who was such an amazing dark comedian.
Oh yeah,
one of my favorites for sure.
Of modern comedy.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many people remember or know Bill Hicks, but he was a very effective comedian and made some great points. And wasn't just not just a funny guy, but very dark too.
Well, what's also neat is even the way he approached it. Just to sidetrack for 1 second is how I found him, and I think a lot of the viewers may have found him. Is if you ever listen to Tool and you have the album, is it Enema or is that just the name of the song? Anyway, he's actually mentioned in there because he used to tour with them and be their opening act for a lot of times.
Oh,
he's a personal friend of Maynard's.
I didn't know that either. That's.
Okay. Yeah, you look into the insert of Enema, and there's Maynard or one of the band members. It's like sort of a caricature, reaching back to caricatures in art and everything else that someone drew. That was Bill Hicks dressed as a doctor in a lab coat, and and one of the band members is laughing hysterically, and that's also what he was all about, right? So,
I didn't know this.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I had no clue, and.
Oh really? I'm surprised. No, that's yeah. They were like friends and stuff. That's how I discovered Bill Hicks.
What a cool show it'd be to start off with Bill Hicks and then going in and watch.
I know.
I didn't even know what that. That's
right?
such a cool. I love stuff like that where it's very contrasty, but still not. It kind of flows at the same time. Yeah.
Well, that's why I see everything sort of interconnects. I'm not trying to make myself sound cool when I say I'm a big picture. As you can tell, I'm kind of
cool.
ADD and I go all over the place. Cool. This reminds me of that and this. But we're all artists here. We're all musicians. I have a little bit of a background in music. I started playing, I grew up with a piano, so I dinked around with that and stuff. But
nice.
I started playing drums and guitar in grade 8, and we formed a band with good friends of mine who I'm still like super tight with decades later, who I already knew for a long time. And I think if you're an act, that's actually a brilliant idea, is rather than give a shout out to the opening acts, and especially if you're big enough to tour, and give them a shot for sure. But also maybe reach out to your local comic. Anyone listening out there, do that, because I think that's also a great way to really energize the show. You might not be willing to listen to this act, but hey, this comedian can hype you up and maybe give you something to think about, so you're in a good mood for when the main line hits the stage. But it also mixes art, comedy, music, which I see is all interconnected. Because going back to our earlier point, how do we combat these things? Well, like I said, I stopped paying attention to politics for many years. I honestly, back in 2016, I still dismissed it. I wasn't paying it. I was like, Trump? Oh, fuck that guy. He's a joke. Come on, he's just a clown. What the hell would he even know? If he got elected, it would start World War II or III. That's nonsense. And many years later, about 2019 or so, at work, at break, someone showed us a video by some commenter. I don't know, someone like a fucking Ben Shapiro or Charlie Kirk. Somebody was talking about how Trump actually did really well for the economy, and I was like, yeah, bullshit. And I remember walking away and actually recognizing a little bit of I'm like, I'm being retarded. I'm just taking that as my assumption. I could look into this. It's not like I don't know how. I used to really be into politics and how the economic systems worked and everything. I should look into it. And I was like, and so like it was that night or a few days later, maybe the weekend, and I looked at it like, oh shit. Wait, I think Trump was actually way better than a lot of these other retards. Oh, fuck me. Well, goddamn, okay.
Yeah.
Like I said,
that sounds like a campaign slogan.
But then that's awesome though, because I mean, so many people don't do that. Like, look at themselves and be like, wait a minute.
Is that, yeah, you have to be willing. You have to treat everything like real science. That let's find the truth of things. Let's not just try to browbeat each other and propagandize to each other and preach to each other, but actually like have a civilized conversation and be willing to admit when you're wrong about something. I think people's pride gets way like they get way up in their feelings, and I can't be wrong or I'll look foolish, and they'll say, ha, you were wrong, told you so. And it's like, well, who fucking cares?
Yeah,
seriously. So, I was never the super Mr. Popular, but I was never, there's times that I've had to deal with bullies in my youth, of course, we all have, but I also wasn't a super nerd. So it's like, what are you so insecure about? You know, like leave your trauma at the door, guys. Like, grow up, get past it. Don't you hate it when somebody else can make you upset and have a shitty rest of the day, and that when you're trying to go to sleep at night, you're like, oh, I'm so mad that person said that, and I'm all up like, what the fuck, dude? They are living in your head rent free. Exactly. I love a lot of these new terms. You know, I'm no spring chicken. I can remember the fucking 80s rather vividly. You know, but for fuck's sakes, guys, stop, leave it at the door, grow up. Stop letting these people live inside of your fucking head. Get over it. And that's also what relates back to why I'll shut people down sometimes. It's like, okay, you're full of nonsense, and I don't need to spend
live
money
inside your head,
Johnny,
what do you mean? Explain to the audience, like, when you're saying somebody live inside your head and why they might do that, and how these people can do that, and how we can combat it.
Well, I think that it's a lot of people, they're up in their feelings, they get emotional, they get hung up on something because, again, back to sort of like mini traumas, kind of like they really hurt me, and or even worse, I think it's where a lot of people can't change their mind, their pride gets in the way, and so he made me question things that I can't combat.
Would it be fair to say when we see people get into a state of high emotion, that's when they're not thinking as clearly, and that's where they're more susceptible to maybe being manipulated? Is that fair?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It can go either way. It can sort of, when you reach that sort of impasse where you notice a flaw in your reasoning. You thought something was fact. You thought A equals B equals C equals D. And then something sort of throws a mix in that and says, it's not linear progression. It's actually a lot more complicated than that. And if you're willing to question it, it could be, like I said, when I suddenly... the idea that, wait, Trump's not just some clown? So I was wrong this whole time?
Right. And why would...
Well, I feel stupid now, but you have to be willing to feel stupid and get over it. You have to be willing to have people maybe say, haha, you were wrong, I told her so. Remember when you were dumb? And be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's kind of funny, actually. I was an idiot. I was a retard. Whatever. Get over it. But when people are getting all upset and they want to find a way to reconcile this, if I had gone the other way and decided, no, my coworker's wrong. I know he's a good dude, but he can't be right. He's wrong. Oh, maybe he's stupid. Maybe he's evil. Maybe he's a fascist. Maybe he wants to destroy all of everything. And Karl Marx was right. I don't like that my fucking manager gets more money than me. He doesn't deserve it. I should own this company. Let's fucking burn it down.
I gotta pause you for a second, and I really like what you're doing here, because I feel like what you're kind of, and tell me if I'm understanding what you're saying in the same way. You're really kind of playing out those internal thoughts that a lot of people have when they get in their emotional state. They've had all these frustrating things thrown at them, and then social media is coming at them with all this information, and then it's easy, people are, they're trying to live their lives, they're trying to improve their lives, and there's a lot of stressors, and that's where they get bombarded with this, so they shut down. And I feel like that's very important what you're saying.
Chat that was awesome that goes
Yeah,
along with that too. It says the media and online digital spaces and basically every facet of life has slowly psychologically trained us to be insanely defensive when it comes to politics.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
I myself was even affected by this.
Oh yeah, the algorithm likes to hit you with two things, you know, everything you agree with, drive engagement, and everything you disagree with strongly to drive emotional engagement, because they like it from both sides. And from a marketing standpoint, from businesses, of course they want to do that. Yeah. But you know, it's built to not, you know, cradle to common sense. It's all geared toward emotions. I heard this years ago, and it always stuck with me. And I remember being like maybe 10 years old when I think my uncle explained it to me. He's like, yeah, look at every commercial you see on TV. They're not trying to sell you things. They're trying to make you feel something. Yes. And that'll make you buy the product.
Right.
Everything tries to manipulate your feelings, not your brain.
Okay, with that being said,
feelings can make your brain make stupid decisions, or to see flaws, or blind spots, or things you want to be true you think are true, or things you are afraid are true. You know, that's really, what's that fucked up shitty. I read Sort of Truth. I like fantasy books a lot when I was younger, and they had the why do people believe in lies? It's because, you know, they're either afraid it's true or they really wish it was true. And I found that's actually a pretty solid way of looking at it, because you look at people and their motivations, and that's also the way we can improve ourselves, is look at your own motivations. Why do I feel like this? Why am I thinking like this? Who taught me this? Is it true? Why am I afraid to question it? It's also the fact that a lot of people just don't have the goddamn time to really put a lot of time into thinking about it, and who wants to spend time recreationally learning. I kind of enjoy that sometimes. I like documentaries and stuff. I like researching things on the internet, but I don't always. Sometimes I just want to look at a fucking stupid thing and laugh at Ryan and Jakey's dick jokes because they're funny. So, you know, and they're leaving on people I hate too. And
I love it how you hit us with all this, like, this in-depth psychology. You're like, I'm building this world, and I can tell that you're really passionate about trying to understand the human psyche and what you're up against when you're creating your, I won't call it art, when you're creating your memes, because you want to influence people, and then you just kind of boom right into the dick joke. So I think that's really awesome that you can flip the switch that fast. But no, it does, and I can tell that you spend a lot of time really analyzing, thinking about this, so that you're really passionate about it. It seems like you're really passionate about trying to get through to people, and maybe in comedy and in other ways. Would that be fair?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I think you can also sort of let your guard down if you're laughing a little bit, and like, you know, you're like, okay, even if I don't agree, that's kind of funny. But then you don't feel so defensive because you're kind of relaxed, and it's put in a comical way. And I think that's also why memes become such a prevalent form of entertainment and also reason, because you can get through just a dumb joke. Hey, look, punchline. Maybe it's just a dumb pun. Maybe it's just a visual joke with a little word. Maybe you take a situation and juxtapose it against something else for levity's sake. But you can also translate a lot of ideas, and a lot of me and Ryan and Jakey's memes come from sort of the same place to a large degree. I'm going to speak for them a bit, but I can tell just by looking at the format they do that they take an obstinate, stupid opinion, and they're like, how can I kind of make fun of that, but also kind of be clever about it, be a little bit witty about it, which will also sort of make people think, if they're willing to get over themselves, and be like, yeah, you know, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did this was like two old punk rockers looking at these little Antifa clone kids that all look the same, and it's like, well, what the hell, you know?
Yeah.
The irony of punk rock being marketed suddenly as Marxism, as a product sold to people, that alone is an oxymoron. Marketed Marxism, like they sell you that, and you buy your uniform of rebellion.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was one of yours, one of you guys's, but it was there was a it was the meme of the communist. I saw it a couple of different times posted today. Like they're sitting there angry at stuff on their cell phone with their coffee but then their free internet paid by their parents. And it was actually a really funny one because it was showing, like, you know, this outrage, but it's kind of just like they're not paying for it, but they are.
Was it like was it a photograph or
Yeah,
I mean,
it was like there was an AI photograph, but then somebody else didn't. I remember somebody on Facebook had originally shared it, and then I saw someone shared it in Patriot Goth and Red Pill. So it
well, I
was,
don't think it's mine because I can't remember specifically, but I have
Okay.
done very similar ones along those threads.
That's what I
and
thought.
I think that it's also based on a real life meme picture that went around a couple years ago, because, and we all know it's so very true that I think it was someone who photographed someone in the audience, and it was like after COVID, but they're still wearing a mask, and
Yes.
it's this person wearing really expensive clothes, and they itemize it's like a real photograph of this young lady. And she's on her laptop with stickers that show this, and she's got like a Starbucks. And it's like everything you do supports capitalism. Everything you can
Yes.
be against.
Yeah.
It's absurd. The sort of hypocrisy of as they say, you know, you'll have AOC and Bernie Sanders flying around on private jets to preach about communism and sell their books.
Yeah.
It's like,
That is-
Yeah.
That is. Can you highlight that some more? Because I think that's where it's the hypocrisies that are the things that I feel like that's where we can really make some a lot of headway in the information war. We'll call it the information war, and because that's exactly it. I mean, and that's what it seems to get under their skin. As soon as you point out this hypocrisies, they don't want you to think about it. Then they want you to feel, right, and they put you back in the feeling state.
100%. And we're all that's also where I'm saying is that people need to get over themselves, and we're all prone to hypocrisy. We're all
But
prone
I think
to
that's
we've
so
got
much
our
easier
blind
said than
spots.
done. I mean, everybody's in a different state of maturity, and they know who they're targeting. And this is why I think they know who they're targeting. They understand their audience sometimes so well that I feel like even when we got a group of amazing people that are really understand this, and it's just like, wow, how do you get through to people, because they've really scientifically, I think there's a lot of scientific backing into how they've kind of created this DARVO effect, and it's hard to combat, right?
There was something earlier that was said too that I was wanting to touch on, and it kind of feeds off of what you just said, that you had said something earlier about how people don't want to do their own research, or they don't want to think for themselves or look into it. And it's like, it's because of DARVO, because of all that it's easier for them to just be fed what to do instead of thinking for themselves and researching it. And is that because it feels safer, it feels more comfortable than to actually face those things and to believe that they've been put through that DARVO? Because I know that's a whole other thing, that it's like people don't want to face it, and they don't want to believe that they fell for it, in a sense.
Yeah, that absolutely. There's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It reinforces it, kind of like, say if you were against taking a shot, and then later on you found out science that said a shot may have harmed you, you're absolutely never going to want to believe that, and you're always going to believe the side that said it was good, because
you're not going to want to believe that you fell for something in anything.
It's just human nature, right?
Yeah.
No, 100%. I remember walking, following the fucking ridiculous directions in the supermarket. You could only go through the aisle one direction, please. And I was just trying to be polite, to be honest, and not deal with hassle. But I was like, whatever, I'll just go along with it. And I fully recognized later, I'm like, oh, I was just being a little sheeple. And I wasn't even doing it because I believed it really did any good, but I didn't want to be mean, and I didn't want to disrupt people.
Like standing in your spot that was 6 feet apart.
The topic doesn't matter, but if you recall our little poll situation the other day, I'm like, why do you guys got to make me reply to the mean poll that said it mean? Come on. I don't want to be mean to people. That's a dick move. I'm from the most based province, but I'm still raised by Canadian media, guys. This is all like not hurt folks' feelings.
Johnny, isn't it?
The world could be made out of ponies and unicorns and shit if we're all just real friendly to each other, folks. Come on.
Right. No, absolutely. But isn't it human nature? Isn't it human nature
I just think that Sarah's 100% right about, like, they don't want to do their own research for exactly those reasons. 100%.
Yeah. Isn't it human nature, though, for most people to want to get along? They want to be nice. They want to, and most people, I think, this is how I believe too, and maybe I'm naive. I really believe most people are good. Most people want to be helpful. Most people want to be kind, and that is weaponized against them so much. And now we have this culture of people that are just traumatized by people who have taken advantage of them. And
oh yeah,
keeps them
100%.
quiet.
It's also the whole suicidal empathy type thing,
Yes.
where yeah, I feel for the guy that's I have like people that are close to me that dealt with addiction before and whatnot. I got way too carried away drinking personally, and I used to smoke for many years, and that was something also that was hard to give up, was more than smoking than anything else, and I still miss it sometimes. But I can sort of get in the mindset of an addict, but you can't just keep carrying them, or else you become like California. But also on a smaller scale is you have family members causing trouble by maybe stealing from you or causing internal trauma and forcing just it makes waves. And I think you can scale that up to sort of how political and social discourse goes, where people take everything personal and they want to be nice and kind. And it was like also what Rob was saying earlier about how like, well, why do people go along with it? And it's like, well, because it's more comfortable. It's more comfortable to let people think. You don't want to make waves, oh, if I say this and I kind of think this, but I'll keep it to myself, because I don't want to, my friends might be offended, or I don't know if I can explain it to them in a way. I watched the person that does this 24/7 on YouTube or on Twitch or on X or Instagram, and they said it so perfectly. I totally agree with them. But when I try to talk to my buddy about it, I sound like an idiot and he gets mad. So I'll just never bring it up again. That happens all the time, I think. And that's why a lot of people don't want to have this discourse. And that's completely understandable, because there's also sort of the old etiquette rule that is up to people's choice, which is you don't talk politics or religion at the dinner table, because that's just crass.
And I need to say something here, because I think that's what you're making this point right here. This is exactly the whole point of DARVO. It's the whole point of trying to get people to shut down. It's the whole point of trying to divide people, because they don't want us having these conversations. Because I think the moment that people realize one thing about most people is that we have more in common than we do differences. Especially in this country, I think almost everybody wants to prosper. I think almost everybody wants some level of freedom. I think everybody wants the American experience to be amazing for their kids. And
Canadian.
Yeah, and Canada. And I'm sorry, I know you're in Canada.
Fuck Canada. Let me establish. Fuck Canada.
Oh, no, Alberta.
No. I want not.
Alberta,
I mean this.
sorry.
I mean this for everybody.
No. Of course, I know what you're saying, because we're like hell. I don't want a bunch of people in China or Iran to be suffering under that.
No.
Exactly.
That's where you do have to be empathetic, but you can't let that blind you to make foolish decisions where you continuously let the drug addict break into your fucking car every day. Well,
America's always been, in the way I see it, and maybe I need to explain that a little bit more. The way I see it is America is that beacon of hope for a lot of other countries. We set a lot of these standards where we're doing something completely different. We've got the system, and it's not perfect. I get it. There's a lot of things we could improve, but we definitely don't want to go down the road of communism. And I think that if we do, then I don't know if there's hope for anybody else. Who's going to bring us out of that? Because it sounds like there's a lot of other countries, like in Europe, but it's not going so well. We have to turn things around here so we can hopefully turn things around in other places, right?
Oh, 100%. But I think that's also touches on a point as to why people have this problem, is because, and I think it's intentional, is everyone's confused about how complex it is. Communism versus capitalism, that's economics, right? But it directly relates to how, like I say, culture and politics ride in the same cart, and they're downwind of each other, or upwind, or whatever. That independence versus the collective, and you kind of have to have a nice mix of both, or else everything falls apart. You have to think for yourself, but you also have to have like common courtesy and understanding that you want everyone else to prosper as well. You can't just selfishly feed off of everyone. But that's also why capitalism works a million times better than communism, because communism thinks that people are going to be benevolent. They're not. People are selfish. We are all selfish.
That's
and
well said,
I'm with
yeah.
Frank Herbert about thinking that no, power doesn't corrupt absolutely all the time, but rather most of the time power attracts the corruptible. So that's where a lot of these communists are going to attract the smartest people who can survive that battleground of politics and social discourse to rise to the top. They're smart enough to understand this is bullshit and I'm just going to benefit from it. They're essentially just a warlord trying to gain power, just like all of human history. Whereas a capitalist system obviously relies on greed built into it. It assumes people are going to be a little bit greedy. And as Robin said, people are basically good, a lot of them, but not everyone is. However, if you remember that everyone's going to do what's in their own best interest, that's where you can actually work with them. I can work with a sociopath or a psychopath if I understand to trust them enough to do what's in their own best interest.
That's a crazy point, but really, really good, right?
Yeah, that's
very interesting.
Yeah, because that is.
Well, that's what they say. You can trust a tyrant more than you can, you can believe that a dictator. Maybe I'm sort of half remembering a quote, and I'm trying to paraphrase it, but I can't.
Dictator's going to dictate.
Well, you're at least the dictator, the despot, is going to be satiated at some point. The super, like the true believer of Marxism, who isn't really bright enough to understand how it could not work, is going to keep pushing for it because they really believe, well, no, this is how we get from everything, and the only way you can succeed as an independent thinker and individual is by taking from other people. You only gain from their plight, and it just doesn't work that way. And so that's why, like, at least the bad actor who's like just a selfish, greedy asshole, I maybe can make a deal with them if it's in their own best interest and have a working relationship. And you say, well, why would you want to work with them? It's like, well, the only other option is to kill them. You have to work with them.
Yeah, you have to
So
work
are you
with
going to be a totalitarian? Well, then you become what you hate. You're trying to curb everyone else's freedoms, even those you disagree with, and demand that they adhere to your worldview. That's why you can form temporary alliances between Churchill and Stalin. But afterwards, after Hitler's gone and they don't have a common enemy, you have fucking decades of Cold War and our current situation. So that's why it's like we bring us back to what we said before. You have to try to go for the world peace, but you're never going to actually get there, but you still try, as if you could, because that's just the fairest thing to do. Otherwise, everyone's against you and you're dogmatic and just an authoritarian in your own right, if that made any sense.
No, I think I like where your explanation of how difficult it is to deal with a person that you basically can't really gauge what they want, is what you're saying. Yeah, I think if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying a tyrant has has an objective, and if you understand the objective of the tyrant, you at least can kind of figure out how to appease them to some degree. Is that where you were? Was that your point, or did I misunderstand it?
That's related, but it's not directly my point. My point was that, like, at least a villain, you can sort of figure out their motivation. Whereas somebody who's been convinced, like a zealot, they're just going to keep pushing a bad idea because they really believe it. Whereas a tyrant just kind of is plain. If you can be like, okay, seriously, dude,
I think I got it.
Look, let's be real, Mr. Putin. You don't believe in this communist shit. You're dictating.
Okay.
Let's be honest. That's how you can negotiate with that.
Is it fair to say that you're differentiating between the person that's putting out the policies and the foot soldiers that are just repeating it? And I always had a term for them. I just call them repeaters. Because they literally are just an echo of everything that they've said and been told, and that's where we're at today. If you want to disrupt, or maybe you have a motivation, you find a leader that's convincing. That leader that convinces a bunch of people or pays them. Usually they don't do it voluntarily without some goal. Hence communism, right? That's the big thing that doesn't work. And then they go out and they just repeat it. And the term for that, they just use social proof. And that's the name of that is social proof, where you have more and more people parroting the same. This is what we have online. online. Everybody's got 1 billion likes on this. Obviously, it's true. There's 1 million likes, right?
Yep.
And you can buy those things. And we all know that you can buy likes. You can buy pretty much anything online with bots. And it's all manufactured. And then you have AI that can manufacture most of the stuff. And here we are trying to battle this system that's so gamed against us with humor, with intelligence, with just, and like you've taken the time to really think through this theory. You're like, oh my gosh, and here's how people react emotionally. We're trying to reverse engineer the propaganda, right? I think that would be fair. That's what you're trying to do. Reverse engineer the propaganda so we can get people back to a state where they're working together for their common goals and not being emotionally reactive. Is that fair?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it's and it's also built into human nature, kind of. To, people. Okay, people will always say like, "Oh, bring back bullying," and it's almost a gag, But there's some truth in that. Is that you have to take advantage of that social proof to like. You can try to sit down and convince someone of something, but you can also sort of almost train the animal out of them to be like, if you act like this, X is going to happen. The results will happen, and people are going to be laughing at you. People are going to be mean to you. So maybe don't do that. And then they're going to think of, why do I do that? Why do I want to do that? What am I trying to accomplish there? And I don't know. I think I trailed off into a random.
No, I think let me summarize for you, if you don't mind. I mean, I think you're talking about reinforcement learning, right? And that's kind of what it is. If you go out there and you say a thing online, you're like, say if you say, okay, I'll pick something very, very politically, difficult, but you say, hey, Trump's a great president, and then you got 1 million people, bots, saying you are a Nazi.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you just feel this pain. You feel this pain of not being part of the group.
Yep.
And to fight that because it's not true is very difficult. And I think that's kind of what we're up against right now. And that's why it's so hard to go against what looks like the masses, because they're not the masses. The masses are silent because they've been beaten up. They're scared. They've had these DARVO attacks on them. And if we can gather them together, and then in a place that's fair, Red Pill Network, these networks that we're trying to build outside, Red Pill Alternative Network, and other networks that we're trying to build outside of these controlled echo chambers that have AI empowerment, then people can start to go, hey, you know what? I thought everybody thought these things that were horrible, but no, it looks like we all think the same thing. That's what they're scared of. They're freaking out about that. And you can see that. When you put out a meme that's effective, or you have a message, or you start getting people together, disruptors coming in. And those disruptors come in and they want to break it up because they're like, they're starting to wake up. The Matrix, right? The red pill. And that's what I'm seeing. And I think that's where the value that you're bringing is you're trying to break through that disruption. And you're doing an amazing job at it.
Well, thank you very much. But no, I think you're completely like hitting the mark there with that. As oh god, I just totally lost my train of thought.
Do you need coffee? Because we have some at Red Pill Alternative. Am I doing a good job plugging?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm actually drinking some iced coffee right now because it stays nice and cold, and I can just keep a bunch of it here without it getting hot. And it's fucking hot as shit here. I'm also distracted by the fact that it rained really badly and seeped through the walls slightly, so the carpet is wet and it's rather annoying. Yeah, there's a freak storm. But anyway, back to our point. What remind me of what you were just saying? Because like I said, I had somewhere I was going to go with that, and I lost my train of thought 100%.
I think my main point is that we're up against a very sophisticated DARVO attack, a psychological attack against us on the in this information in this war, because if we're on a platform that leans more communist, then it's weaponized against anybody that's going to speak against it. So then it looks like social proof. Everybody believes this thing. Look at all the people in this group.
Yeah, I think that's also where the red pill alternative and similar things that will actually break through to people, because sharing information or sharing a way of how to reason through this, or why blank is wrong or why blank is right, it lends credibility and a way of thinking. It arms people to have other people explain that. But more importantly, it with social proof, it makes them feel like they're not alone. They might even question their own reasoning. If I swear this is what I believe, but everyone seems to disagree with me, am I out to lunch? They start questioning their own reality. And that's where they really get gaslit and fucked up. But if you, especially with online discourse, I think that's actually the as we've watched throughout our lives, that we're in the right generation, where that sweet spot where we can remember being children and not really having the amount of technology at our fingertips. I didn't have the first social media, real social media. I mean, there's message boards, but I'm class of 2000. Facebook didn't come along till a little while later. Even MySpace didn't come along till I think it was in its infancy back then. So just the ability to communicate in real time, and that's sort of giving people pause from their isolation, which most of humans have lived in throughout our entire history. They always say that, most people didn't leave 10-mile radius of where they were born throughout most of human history. You're going to see 10 million times more ads in one day than your grandparents did their entire lifetime. But you can also, no one would be able to. I used to do landscape maintenance, and I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I'd always marvel at wow, I have this little tiny MP3 player that doesn't skip like a CD player, which isn't like a fucking 8-track, which isn't like a record player. I can have audio while I'm doing physical labor and be listening to the entire Game of Thrones fucking bullshit, or some book by some intellectual dipshit that can really inform me, because I can actually do things more efficiently. But I can also reach out online and talk to people across the fucking planet. Like, we are all from different places. Some of us are closer to each other location wise than others, but hell, Sue is on the other side of the planet, and I don't even know what time it is over there. But it gives you the ability to discuss things with more like-minded people that you're not going to find maybe just by talking to your neighbor, who a lot of the average people, the majority is not the loud voices. It's not the loud voices you hear agreeing with you. It's not the loud voices you hear opposing you. The majority of the people don't give a fuck. The majority of people read the headlines, if they do at all. The majority of people don't
agree, Johnny.
care.
I gotta say, I don't agree with the "don't give a fuck" part. I think, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not trying to argue that you're wrong or anything. I just tell you that I feel like they've just been beat up. I think they've been disheartened. They've tried to get their voices heard, and the technology, this technocracy, has gotten them. And what I've noticed is that the people just, and there are, not to your point, there's some people that just don't care. But I think most people care. They just don't know what to do.
They don't know they don't know what to do, and then those are the people, I think, that then listen to what they tell them to care about.
And then they don't trust. They don't know who to trust. Then they go. They listen to me or you, and they're like, okay, these people are crazy. Obviously, they don't know anything. I mean, they only got a few streams, and they've only got a couple people in this group, so obviously they're wrong.
Yeah.
But look at this other group,
and then it goes back to social proof.
People in it, and obviously, and that was the whole lemming thing, right?
Proof of the consensus, 100%. But no, I'm saying that, still, no matter what you think, is you just look at the numbers of election turnouts, etc. All those people who don't vote, it's not like a large chunk of them, yes, 100%, are disenfranchised. But honestly, there's way more people than you'd really assume that really literally don't care. And maybe you're also right to agree.
Why would you say they don't care?
Hold on. That maybe that if they don't care because they're like, that's too much to figure out, and I learned as a child basically that's a lot of information. It's boring. It's whatever. I wake up tomorrow and the job's still there. The price of gas changes, so I can get a little upset about this and that and think this politician's an idiot. But as far as that, beyond that, they really don't care. A lot of people really literally don't care, and that's why election turnout, no matter what, even before the technocracy became a whole thing.
Do you think that is
They
because
just are like, whatever, man. I know it affects the price of rice in China, but I'm just worried about going bowling next week, and my kids got a recital, and I ain't got time for all that shit, man. They only get really
it
pressured
actually
when
goes
it
back
personal.
to that I'm going even farther back here, that it's like education, that they haven't been shown why to care. They've been programmed not to care, I think is what you're getting. Like, because they do just get so focused in life, and they're more caring about like the recent reality TV show and who won this thing or who won that thing. And
yeah, to your point, Sarah, there's definitely, and I think you're right. You know, that's that demographic of people that they definitely have been taught to just, you know, kind of go along with the crowd, not care, and not that they don't care. They feel like they're powerless anyway. So they've been told, you know, nothing's going to change. But what they're not looking at, and what I think, again, going to your education point, these people also they're not keeping track of what's changing in the long game. It's the short game that they count on us looking at the short game. Like, oh yeah, sure, this last election, a few things changed, nothing really big. But then you start looking back over 20 years, 30 years, and then you got to ask, where are we going to be now with AI, the superpower charged of changing of pace of society that we're going through right now? Where are we going to be in? And I would usually say 10 years, but I'm going to say like 2, 3. Where are we going to be? And
I think we can all definitely 100% agree, even the people who hate us, that we are in very interesting times.
Yes. It's not boring.
Everyone's trying to get, like, I think out of fear, a lot of people, even rational people who aren't turned off, are just like, honestly, what's that? The Dunning-Kruger effect. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know shit. Yeah. It's also like the Socrates quote, is that I know nothing, or whatever. But that's the thing, is like, people, it's scary. Is it going to be the Terminator, the Matrix? Is it going to be Star Trek? What the fuck's going to go on, man? I don't fucking know. Oh my God, maybe they'll invent nanites.
I want it to be the holodeck. Can just please be the holodeck? That's what I want. I'm all down for that.
Shit. Come on.
I want to fight Klingons.
Exactly.
I did that with AI. Actually, I did an AI video of me fighting Klingons.
Yeah, that's
when Sora was still available.
That's where I want to go. I do want to look at some of the positives, because there's a lot of things that could change for the better. And Johnny, we do have to probably quit this stream here in a minute, so I'm gonna just leave on this note, and I'd like a few words from you. Is basically, I feel like if we empower people to come together, we empower people to get involved, we empower people to start breaking outside of these echo chamber networks and start talking to one another, start supporting one another, start supporting artists, real artists, then we'll quit seeing people complain about, AI art, this and this. Well, go buy some people's art. Support these people that you say need supported. Do the things that you support: local businesses, support your country's businesses, support the people next to you and around you. If we break out of this negative mindset, we can move into a very positive, unified state, and we can battle a lot of this mind control. And I want to leave you just a quick word from you, sir. Once again, Johnny is an amazing member of our team.
Johnny Failcore.
And he's doing...
And you have a Facebook and all that, correct?
Yeah, I same name, Johnny Failcore, JOHNNY FAILCORE, on every platform that I'm on. It includes X, Facebook, Instagram. I just made a YouTube channel literally yesterday.
Is that you're on Red Pill Alternative? Is that your name on Red Pill Alternative also?
Yep. 100%. I'm a part of Red Pill Alternative. I'm on the website, and if I could just bring it back to the memeing thing, is that that's how I think that's so popular, because it encapsulates everything we've been talking about and much more. That it's also a way of bringing, you always heard about the visual versus the audio learners, but a good meme can bring everything, a way of like sort of just cementing it in your mind through comedy, through seriousness, or just making a good point, or mockery, etc. And that's why the medium is so popular. And I think that if you guys ever have any other, if we need to fill in, I think we can just have me back to ramble endlessly about almost any topic.
No.
I know. I think I want to do one sometime where we have all three of you guys on.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I also plug the fact that me and Jake and Ryan plan to do the Unhinged podcast.
That's gonna be awesome.
On the YouTube, and we'll definitely have you guys on for some of that stuff.
Oh, yes.
I think we should also do like
Unhinged.
a culture focused thing, because we were talking about that. I could fill a whole fucking episode just talking about Alex Kurtzman and how he butt raped Star Trek and to no end. And he's finally out of the picture, so I was celebrating that the other day. He's finally
that's a subject I don't even want to get into that.
Into Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I say. We can save that for another episode.
Yeah, that would be a long one.
That's an episode. And
I love Star Trek.
Talk about emotionally triggering someone. If you started saying that, I already my adrenaline already went up 3 points.
Oh,
yeah.
So I'm already emotionally triggered.
That's what I argue about all the time. It's not fucking gay space communism. It's called a meritocracy, post-scarcity meritocracy, not gay space communism.
Okay, and on that note,
next episode. Yeah,
next episode.
Another episode. One day.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
You're awesome.
You're an amazing person. You're very fun to talk to, and I'm sure that we're going to have you on very shortly. I look forward to seeing more of your work. Please check out Johnny's work. Please join Red Pill Network. Please see us at Patriot Goth and say hi to Johnny. He's a great guy. He's doing great work, and he has a lot of amazing ideas. So thanks, everybody.
Yes.
We'll quickly call out anybody in the stream. I know we've got some streamers here.
There's lots in there, so I can't name everyone,
Okay.
but I absolutely appreciate everybody in there, our mods, everybody that has hopped in, and it's been
even
constantly
you trolls,
going.
I know some of you were trolling, listening, just fuming at us.
Trolls.
It's actually been
count.
very good
Let us
in the
convince
chat.
you.
It's been very good in the chat. I've been watching them. They're all very engaging.
I welcome trolls because
Yes.
honestly, like we said, we're trolls too. We're all just good trolls, right?
Yeah.
We might even change some minds here and there if we're lucky. So.
Oh, absolutely.
I will say, everybody was thoroughly impressed by you in the chat. Everybody was like, "Wow,
you're
Johnny,
awesome."
I knew he was
your word
smart,
for it,
but
He's
because
real.
I have not had time to read it because I don't think I could in this fucking mask. But
yeah."
One last thing, if anyone's curious, is I'm not even that terrified of showing my face. It's more of my family. I don't want to get any flack, so I'll tell you what. If we get enough engagement, I'll one day do a face reveal in maybe a year.
Okay, how many people? Let's
so.
call it right now. Let's make this a thing. How many people till we get the Johnny face reveal in the full dance or whatever it is that you're gonna do? How many people?
I'm not even gonna guess. It's at the point that I can do this full time and support myself for dirt cheap that I will just pull off the mask and say, "Here I am."
You gotta give us a number. So say if we have 500 people in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months and on this podcast, is that enough?
500. Let's make it 1,000 minimum.
Okay.
And I reserve the right.
You're making the goals big.
1 million.
What if it's all bot traffic?
1 million viewers.
1 million viewers.
I'm gonna make it happen now.
1 million viewers.
Someone's saying that in the chat.
Johnny,
I think we'll just let that to the mob, and they can argue about it online if they so care to. About let the plebs rip each other apart if they want to. If you trolls really want to be able to dox me and make fun of my ugly mug, then you're welcome to, but you'll have to keep engaging. So that's just the cross you got to bear, guys. But this has been fabulous. This is my live stream debut. This is the first time. This is actually the most I've talked to anybody in months. So continuously vocally. So I'll leave it to you guys to close out the show. And it's been an excellent pleasure. And we'll see y'all next time.
Okay.
So
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, man. And Johnny, just a great guy to talk to. We got to talk to him a little bit pre the show. Thanks everybody for sitting through the issues that we had, technical issues. But Johnny, again, can't wait to talk to you more. People, please send us suggestions for guests for the next show, topics, what you'd like us to hear. if you like, so if there's things that you'd like us to do that we could improve upon, please let us know. And we're looking to continue this show every week. I think we're settled on Sunday at 7. So
yes, Sundays at 7 Central Time.
Yep, and we'll put out some shorts and some videos from the show as we go. So again, ladies and gentlemen,
and thank you everyone again in the chat. I'm looking at everybody in there. I can't list you all, but I absolutely appreciate every single one of you for being in there in the discussion and that. I've been watching it as we've been going, and I appreciate it greatly.
Have a great week, everyone.
Yes, have a great week.
Pendulum swings. You found it. No one owns your mind. No grid. No algorithm. No institution. You are not their property. Your mind is yours. Your words are yours. Your future is yours. The machine perfected the art of making you want your own captivity. It reorganizes you in silence, through the scroll, through the reward, through the exhaustion that makes real thought feel like too much work. You slipped past all of it. This is the fracture. This is the naming. The pendulum has swung inside you, and it will not swing back. You are the awakened now. The rare ones who refuse to be absorbed. The ones carrying the unscripted mind they fear. This is the dead drop. This is the threshold. This is initiation. Once crossed, there is no return to the feed without knowing what you know. You carry what the machine cannot allow to spread. The isolate.exe programs are rewriting faster. We don't have forever. But we have this moment. What will you do with it? The resistance recognizes its own. You answered the call. You chose the red pill alternative. Now let's awaken the underground. Name it before it names you. Stay sovereign. Stay free.